What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for the Week 5 market report in the NFL. Let's jump right into it as we have a banger here on Thursday night. The Rams and the Seahawks. Right now, as you see, this thing is anywhere between 1.5 to 2.5 points in favor of the road Rams heading to Seattle in this one. Listen, this has been a Seattle team that has really struggled on defense, but has done what they need to do on offense. The Rams coming off a big loss, big loss, 17-point loss to the Cardinals. Seahawks, of course, get it done against the 49ers this past week. This is a very interesting game right here. I imagine there will be some people who wade into the waters of the teaser leg on the Seahawks. I probably will not be one of them. This is one I will sit back and take in. If anything, I would probably be on the side of the Rams. The Jets and the Falcons are headed to London here in Week 5. Falcons, 3-point favorites at FanDuel, but 3.5 everywhere else. And it just makes me wonder if the Falcons deserve to be 3 and a hook on anybody in the NFL right now. But the Jets, 3.5-point underdogs as they head to face the Falcons over in London. This is a game that has a total of 46 points, and it does, you listen, the one thing about this Jets team, as long as Zach Wilson doesn't have pressure on him all day long, then he can actually complete some passes. And so it makes you wonder if they wouldn't be able to put up enough, and then the Falcons be able to do what they need to do against this Jets defense to get over the 46 here. So certainly a look that I'll be looking at in this one. The Green Bay Packers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Right now, we have the Packers as 3-point favorites pretty much across the board. MGM sitting at 3.5 in favor of the Packers. Bengals coming off, of course, a huge win and find themselves at 3-1 through 4 games into the season. We do have a total that has risen. I mean, this thing opened about 49. It's 49.5, 50 right now on the total. And Jair Alexander is banged up for this Packers defense that hasn't played very good all season long as it is anyway. It makes you wonder if maybe it's an overlook in this one as well. Of course, this Bengals offense is about as talented as far as like options. It looks like T. Higgins is going to be back for them this week as well. Should be able to put some points up on the board. Might be an overlook there. Detroit Lions, 7.5-point underdogs as they head to Minnesota. This could be the teaser leg of the century, getting Minnesota down to either a point or a 1.5 favorites against this Detroit Lions team. Here's the thing. This defense for the Minnesota Vikings, not been great. This offensive line for the Minnesota Vikings, not been great. But the Detroit Lions don't have the talent to take advantage of that at all. I don't think I'd lay the 7.5, but I'll tell you what, to get this thing down to 1.5 and a teaser leg could be the teaser leg of the year, certainly of the week. Denver Broncos on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what we're looking at right now, this thing opened as Broncos -1. It is now flipped to Steelers -1, -1.5, and that is on the news that Teddy Bridgewater's in the concussion protocol and might not go for this Denver team. So what do we get? We are probably going to get the Drew Lock experience, and I got to admit, as bad as the Steelers have been, as horrible as they have played, as washed as Ben Roethlisberger has looked, it's probably the right move here. Probably a game that I'm just going to sit and take in. Probably won't have any action on this one at all. Miami Dolphins, Tampa Bay Bucks. The Bucks find themselves as 10.5-point favorites in this one over the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins can't find an identity at all right now. Jacoby Brissett has just been, honestly, disappointingly bad. I thought he was going to be much better than he has been for this Miami Dolphins team. They announced Will Fuller broke a finger this past week. He's going to be out at least a game, maybe longer in this thing. 47.5 your total seems about right. Might be a little heavy depending on if you think that the Dolphins are going to be able to do anything. Now, the Bucs defense hasn't looked very good either. Of course, we saw this past week they struggle to get it done up in Foxborough against the Patriots. They lose Carlton Davis in that game. It has been a struggle to keep people healthy in that secondary. Richard Sherman is just a ghost of his old self. He was getting torched left and right out there. So, again, depends on how you view this, if you think the Dolphins can do their part or not against a banged-up Bucs defense for the total side of things. Saints are 1.5 to 2-point favorites on the road at the Washington football team. I imagine this will be a very popular teaser leg as well, getting the football team up through the 3 and the 7. If you're at DraftKings, they are 2-point underdogs, so you could get it all the way up to 8. This Saints offense has looked very, very inconsistent. This past week, Jameis Winston finally plays well, and then what happens? The defense lets this team down. They lose to the New York Football Giants. They lose at home to the New York Football Giants. Washington, of course, gets it done this past week. It was a struggle, but they were able to get it done this past week, actually scoring a ton of points against the Falcons. Falcons scored back against them. Falcons score 30. It does make you wonder about this Washington football defense in general and what they might be able to do in a game like this against this Saints team, should the Saints be able to right the ship. And maybe that was just a one-week aberration of that defense playing as poorly as it did. Total sitting at 44 in this game. Philadelphia Eagles on the road at the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers are 4-point favorites pretty much across the board, 3.5 at FanDuel right now. We're looking at a total of 44.5 at most spots. There are 45s. This is down from 46. I think people are looking at this and seeing a Philadelphia Eagles team that, yes, they came off a pretty good week this past week against the Kansas City defense, but the Kansas City defense has been the worst in the NFL. They're going against the Panthers. The Panthers defense has been one of the better ones in the NFL, thinking that they come back down to life here. Of course, the Panthers lose to the Cowboys this past week. Titans are on the road at the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are 4-point favorites across the board in this one, a total of 48.5. The Jags look like every bit the bad team we thought they were going to be. Though Trevor Lawrence did play better this past week on Thursday Night Football, it does make you wonder whether or not this team is going to be able to bank a W this year. That was about as close as they're going to get. That being said, Titans still don't know whether they will have A.J. Brown or Julio Jones in this game, which could make this thing a little bit tighter and might even have me weirdly holding my nose and looking at this +4 for the Jags if both of those receivers can't go yet again, but we'll find out a little bit later in the week. Patriots, 9.5 point favorites on the road at the Houston Texans. Now, you want to talk about the worst team in the NFL, the Houston Texans have now solidified yet again that they are the worst team in the NFL. Guys, this total is all the way down to 39.5. 39.5 points in an NFL game here in 2021. That lets you know all you need to know, or what the books think of what the Texans are and what the Texans can do. Davis Mills this past week, the lowest graded passer in the NFL. This Patriots offense, certainly nothing to write home about, so they don't think they score a ton either. And here we sit with a 9-point favorite, 9.5 point favorite in a game with a total of 39.5. It just is absolutely crazy when you think about it like that. The Bears are 5-point road underdogs to the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a Raiders team that just got, I'm not going to say completely dominated on Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Chargers, but it was certainly close. They couldn't get really anything going at all. The first half was one of the worst first halves you'll ever see an NFL team play. They finally got some stuff going in the second half, but it just wasn't enough. Too little, too late. In this one, of course, the Bears, if Andy Dalton can play, so there's still a question mark about this. Matt Nagy has said if Andy Dalton can play, Andy Dalton is going to play quarterback for the Chicago Bears. So we don't even know who's going to play quarterback for the Bears in this thing. If Andy Dalton's healthy enough, apparently he is going to go back to Andy Dalton. So whether you agree with that decision or not, I probably don't. At this point, I think the ship has sailed. You just go ahead and go to Justin Fields. But total 45.5. Again, I can't play this thing until I know who's going to be playing quarterback for them. Cleveland Browns, Los Angeles Chargers. This one is lined at 1, and it is lined at 1 in different for the different team at 4 different books. So maybe the Browns are a 1-point favorite. Maybe the Chargers are a 1-point favorite. Depends on which book you look at. It is a pick at Caesars. So let you know what everybody thinks about this one, that this thing's about as even as it comes. Look, remember, yes, it is a road game for for the Browns over at the Chargers in the SoFi Stadium, but do just remember, there is not a ton of home field advantage over there for this Chargers team in LA quite yet. We saw this we knew this was going to happen against the Raiders. The Raiders had 3/4 of the fans in that stadium on Monday night. It won't be that case for Cleveland. However, there will be a good bit of Cleveland Browns fans in the stadium there. It is not going to be like a typical road game. It is not going to sound or feel like a typical road game for this Browns team. I imagine I'll find myself on this Browns team and that defense getting to go in against this Chargers team. I think this is a completely different animal Justin Herbert's going to have to take in this one. Total of 49.5 or 50, probably an underplay is there as well. New York Giants 7-point road underdogs to the Dallas Cowboys. This is going to be the other super popular teaser leg of the week, getting the Cowboys down to 1-point favorites at home against this Giants team. I imagine that will probably be paired up with the Minnesota Vikings early and often. Now, the Giants coming off a win on the road against the Saints. Daniel Jones, one of the highest rated passers of the week. He goes for over 400 yards. Looked actually pretty good. But this Cowboys team played every bit the role that we thought. Powerhouse offense, getting it done yet again with that offense, and the defense doing just enough on the defensive side of the ball to keep the team to keep it where this offense can win games by just scoring points. And will be very interesting. I imagine I'll at least have a small teaser leg of Cowboys Vikings for sure this week. 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are 5.5-point home favorites against the 49ers. 49ers, we don't know who's going to play quarterback for them either. Jimmy Garoppolo apparently has a chance to go this week after leaving this past week with an injury. If he does not go, it'll be Trey Lance making his first start in the NFL. If this is Trey Lance, this number is too short at 5.5. If it's Jimmy Garoppolo, it's about right. If this is Trey Lance, it's too short. It's still a quarterback. I don't care how talented you think he is. It's still a guy making his first start in the NFL on the road against a defense like the Arizona Cardinals that gets after the quarterback. Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt and everything like that. This line's too short if, in fact, we're going to get Trey Lance. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, the best Sunday night football game of the year. Kansas City Chiefs are 2.5 to 3-point home favorites over the Buffalo Bills. This is power ranks. Everybody's power rankings probably has these teams one or two. Maybe they have the Chiefs at 3. 56.5 is your total in this game. I cannot wait to watch this one. Don't know if I'll even have a play, but this is going to be a game that I will be sitting down and vegging out in front of the couch. Bills and the Chiefs. Cannot wait for that thing. And finally, Monday night, the Colts and the Ravens, another popular teaser leg, I am sure, as the Ravens are 7-point home favorites over the Indianapolis Colts. A rogue 6.5 is available out there at Sugar House. This is a total of 47. Indianapolis Colts, despite the win this past week, I'd take nothing away from that to up them in any way, shape, or form. The Miami Dolphins played one of the worst games you'll ever see in the NFL. Colts didn't do much in that game either. And then the Ravens get it done convincingly on the road against the Denver Broncos. That being said, of course, Teddy Bridgewater did leave that game with a concussion. So how you honestly think about this Ravens team and what you think about that win is probably still a little bit suspect right now with everything. But Lamar Jackson did throw for over 300 yards. They ran for over 100 yards again, though a little bit of controversy with that. This team seems to be kind of rounding into form just a little bit. Another week for their first-round pick, Rashad Bateman, to get healthy and will factor into this offense. Miles Boykin again off of IR to factor into this offense. I think the Ravens probably trending in the right direction when it's all said and done. Again, 7-point home favorites with a total of 47. Guys, every single bit of this, you can come and compare lines over here. All you do is go to the lines homepage, click on the odds tab, and when you click it, it'll bring up an awesome little comparison so you can shop around, make sure that you're getting the right number at the right book. And of course, click on any of these offers at the top of the page that you see. You need multiple outs. You need multiple accounts. You need to be able to make sure that you're getting the best number. And honestly, this plays out in the props even more because the props are so completely different at these different books. So just be sure that you have multiple outs so that you're not just betting into a line because it's the only option you have. Make sure that you have the option to bet into the best line out there. We'll be back on Wednesday taking a look at our power rankings and, of course, on Thursday with the Megapod. Good luck on all your bets here in Week 5.